Hello. Oh, good afternoon, or at least it's an afternoon here. Welcome. So nice to be here with you all. Oh, that's good. At first I got a little message saying my internet was bad, but I think it took a moment to, really connect, and now it says excellent, so that is good. Hi, Christine. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. We'll be answering some of your questions today, and if there's anything that I miss or that you're not totally satisfied with the answer, then please cue me again, because we'll find it. We'll find it. Well, actually, what I would invite is that you will find it within you. And I'm here to catalyze your own inner wisdom to guide you. So this is going to be great. So just a moment to kind of settle in. If you care to share where you're coming in from, that's kind of cool. I love this community, this, electronic web that allows us to connect in these ways that we can see each other and hear each other. And I'm thankful for it. Hi, Tina from Nevada. Hi. So great. We went through Nevada in a number of years ago. Super hot. We, fell in love with our camper trailer all over again, because even in the 40-degree heat, the air conditioner didn't bat an eyelash. It just kept us nice and cool and everything all the time we're there. So nice to be here with you. Yeah. Hi. Welcome, Mimi. Nice to see you. So happy to be in community with you. So today we're talking about the power of attention for a better feeling body and life. And I would love if we could just begin with some breathing. And I'm going to invite you to breathe in the way that feels good to you. I'll invite in a fuller breath. And I love the breath because I say sometimes that it's like clearing the palate of the mind. It's preparing us for what's next. Kind of releasing us from what was before, even if just for moments. And the breath is just such a helpful assistant in allowing us to calm our mind. And we'll go over a little bit in this morning about why that even makes a difference. Like, how on earth could the breath calm the mind? And all that's happening here is that your attention is going to something that is different than what it was just thinking the moment before. So let's just take a minute and just have a few breaths together, shall we? So a full breath in, whatever that is for you. I'm going to let out a noisy one. Breathing can help you arrive in the moment. The breath is an innate part of us. It happens. You are being breathed. You are being lived through, animated by infinite intelligence. When I really settle into that idea of infinite intelligence, like, what? You know, I can't get a finger hold in the concept from my personal mind. But from the universal mind, from infinite intelligence, it's like, it's all good. It's all okay. You don't need to understand it, grasp it, have a hold on it, because it's happening. It's been happening all along. I don't know what life was like necessarily before conception, but it came in. My essence, your particular essence came into this body to be expressed, to express. It's been doing it without us doing anything, except for maybe sometimes with our second guessing, scary thinking, conditioned, the conditioned mind, conditioned thinking. We've maybe been, resisting it. Only because we've learned somewhere along the way, innocently, mostly innocently, I like to think, from our parents, from our peers, our friends, society, cultures, we've been innocently conditioned to believe that there are certain ways that if we're like this, then we're more acceptable, and if we're like that, we're not as acceptable, and so then we try to fit in to some made up idea of who we're supposed to be. And the only supposed to be, no supposed to be, but really who we're meant to be, I guess, is exactly who it is that we're being guided to be in the moment, how we're being nudged by God, universe, Allah, Buddha, angel, whatever you might call that invisible intelligence that is, it's guiding us 24/7. And the only way to know it is to trust it, test it out in your own life. Because we've all experienced it, where things just flowed, they just happened so easily, even in what someone might call a difficult situation. It's like, wow, that it just all kind of worked out. Well, you can bet in those times that you were going with the flow of how the universe has been guiding you. And it feels easy when we live life that way. And then there's times where we can, a situation, something might come up, and we'll have a thought that it's going to be hard, or it's difficult, or whatever, or something will come up for us to do, and then and it feels good to do it, and then all of a sudden we pile on some thinking and what we might call second guessing, and then it feels heavy and hard and effortful. So I'd love to start with, we are all equal, because we're lived by the same force of energy. We're lived by the same energy. That is the grand and great equalizer. And that is wonderful. wonderful to know that so long as we are human, we're going to be going in and out of our experience of life through how we're thinking. Let me back up a little bit here. So the 3 principles is a grounding, that I have a grounding in this understanding. And the 3 principles, it's mind, consciousness, and thought. But really, the articulator of it, Sydney Banks, he was a Scottish welder who had a blow his mind insight, and just, it's like all thought fell away, and he could see clearly how, actually, I'm just making it up because I don't know exactly what his experience was. I have heard a description of it, but it was just like all of a sudden all the filters came off, and he could clearly see how our experience, what we're experiencing is the feeling of our own thinking, and how we are being expressed through and by God, universal energy. It expresses through us, and then we get to experience it through all of our senses, our bodily senses. So cool. It's like we're our own little movie, our own little video, happening in real time, moment to moment. So I also have studied different laws of the universe. And what I've seen in the 3 principles, law of attraction, Abraham Hicks was one that I had, studied, and it didn't all really connect until I learned about the 3 principles. And that was about 3 years ago. And I've been studying and looking and testing it out in my life with my body ever since. And I invite you to come with an openness and a willingness to see for yourself. Test it out for yourself. It's the only way I see that really has an impactful difference, because when you get curious, and this is not like, okay, I'm going to go out there and test it out. It's not that. It's just carry on with what's coming, with how life is going for you right now, and just start to notice. Just test these theories out. Oh, okay. I noticed that, I was feeling like this, really happy, and then all of a sudden I'm down in the dumps, and it's like, well, what's going on? What's the difference? We think thoughts run through the ticker tape of our mind all day long, even in our sleep. I was talking with someone yesterday afternoon about dreams, and they said that they'll wake up in the middle of the night and they're just contorted. They're so tense and tight. It's like, is that thought too? It's like, yeah. Our dreams are thoughts too. And we may not know what they're about, may not even know. And it doesn't matter, really. It's just recognizing that, oh, I had a thought about something and it seems so real. And I felt this. We're only experiencing the feeling of our own thinking. So let's look at this idea about attention. Oh, I don't know if I finished. Sorry. That, because I was going to say that when I came across the principles, is like, oh, all the spiritual laws of the universe are it's all wrapped up in there. It's like, oh, okay, it was just another way of making sense of what is true, And there are different teachers who have different words to speak to the same truth. That's what I'm interested in. Like, what is true for everybody? Because we are one. What I see is true for everyone. When I know that, when I can trust in that, then I know that whatever other experiences are going on, they're going to be subjective. They're going to be thought created. They're going to be different. And we can tell because we can look at the same thing, the same situation, and have different experiences with it. No, that was a great movie. That was a horrible movie. I love that movie. Where it's all whatever we're thinking at the time. And have you ever watched a movie once and then someone convinced you to watch it again and it just wasn't as good? Or it was better? Or it was whatever? It's because we're not coming to it fresh. We're not coming to it with like a curiosity and a wonder to be like, entertained or whatever. It's like, oh, we know what's going to happen. And we're kind of, we're like wrecking the story for ourselves. We can show up fresh. What more can I see? That's what I invite you to today. In not just in this talk, but just in your life. Rather than, I know how my day is going to go and doing this and that, and then the next thing's going to happen. I invite you to come to it with wonder. What new can I see in my day? What is going to be fresh? What's been there all along? And what is new? Because even the things that have been there all along, if you look at them with fresh eyes and wonder, you will see something different. When you look for something new. Here we go. Let's talk about attention. Attention. Right, and let's talk about it in the body and maybe a little broader too. Let's see where it goes. And you drive this as well. If you have any questions or things that you want to insert in there or go in this direction, like let's do that. But we'll look at body and life. The mind of the beginner is greatly open. Yes, Slovena. And let me know if I need to adjust the pronunciation. Looks like Slovena. That's beautiful. And the mind of the beginner is already greatly open. Yes, let's come to life every moment of every day as a beginner. Like how fun. Perfect, great. Thank you, Slovena. Thank you. Nice to meet you. So, right, what does attention have in feeling better? Here's the thing. Wherever we are, and I'm going to combine these words because we're energy. Everything is energy. It's not a secret anymore. I think everyone knows that everything is energy. My pen, it's like everything is made up of energy, of different vibration. And even our thoughts, everything is created twice. Once, first in thought and then in form. Sometimes it just, it in form. Let's talk about this for a moment about how does thought become form? Well, there was a lot of thought that went into this pen and the writing in it and the materials and the ink, right? There's a lot of thought that went into creating this. Now let's talk about thought from, like, how does thought in my mind come into form in my body? Like, what does that mean? What do you mean? Like, does thought ever not come into form? Actually, I'll have to ponder that one. But I'm going to talk about what makes sense to me right now. I love this. Bear with me, because when I'm a learner too. I'm learning right along with you. I've seen some things. Yes, I have. And I know you've seen things too. So there are things that you may see clearer than I can see them right now. Because we all come with our own personal mind thinking. And then we have our universal mind. That's one of the principles, right? That is the mind of God or the universe, the infinite. So when we're living and following the guidance of that mind, and at times, of course, with the assistance of our personal mind as well, there's some knowledge that we have. I needed that in order to know, how do I go live on Insight Timer? This is my 4th time on going live. I'm highly enjoying it, and I hope you are too. And I needed my personal mind, the knowledge, the information that was in there in order to know how to, manage this, the system and that kind of thing. So, but it's our universal mind that is guiding us 24/7 with no bias except for, now I'm going to use various words, and the words will be different for you, but adventure, joy, love, peace, curiosity. It expresses through us and then gets to experience its own creation through the senses of our body. We have consciousness, which is awareness, which allows us to be aware that there is something to be experienced, to be aware that we're feeling it, touching it, hearing it, tasting it. We experience our own expression. And when we are, okay, let me repeat that because there is something in there. We experience our own expression. And the experience, whatever we're experiencing, is our thoughts, rather. We're experiencing the feelings of our thoughts. So when there's something that doesn't feel good in the body, that'll tell you right then and there that your thinking is going basically against universal mind, against who you really are. Our personal mind and our physical body is a very tiny, teeny, tiny, weeny aspect of who we are. The infinite intelligence is the most of who we are. Let's talk about vibration for a moment, because attention, where you put your attention is your focus or your thinking. Where you put your attention, whatever you're putting your attention on, there is a vibration. Remember, everything is energy. Energy vibrates. My bones vibrate at a lower frequency than than the fluids in my body. So the heart, the organs will vibrate it's been measured, will vibrate at different frequencies. Different thoughts have different frequencies. When we're thinking a thought that has us feeling tense or confused or anything other than clear and calm, it's an indication that your thinking is against your true nature, is not going with the flow, is resisting. Now there was there was a question about accepting. Do I need to accept? Well, here's the thing. If we resist what is, we will feel it in our body. Now, does this mean that we have to love it all? Like all of a sudden I have to love all this? I have to accept it and accept it in the way of I gotta like it and all that? It's just acknowledging that this is it. Looking at the facts. We had spoken a couple of days, or in one of the calls, maybe a couple of them, about checking in with the facts. Because when there's something that cannot be disputed, that anyone looking in will agree to those facts, okay. But if someone when someone can look at the same thing and see something different, that's not a fact. It's their story. It's story. So we're looking at, facts and what is thought made up. And I mean, I won't go here, but I will just say everything is thought. We're thought. I'm thought. The only thing we're ever in relationship to is our own thinking. There's thought in before even you looking at me, listening to me, there is thoughts that you have. You're in your own relationship to your thoughts about me. It's the only way it is, because everything is thought. Everything is basically made up of energy. Whew. Let's leave that one for another day. Let's just go, let's stay on track with the attention in the body. Right. Yeah. So when things are feeling good in your body, when you're feeling pretty calm and whatever, likely what's happening in your mind, the thoughts that you're thinking, the thoughts that you're, or maybe not thinking, they're calm. It's calm. It's pretty clear. It's going along with the flow. The universe is happy with that. Yes, Michaela, you're being yourself. It's saying yes to each of you. Yeah, you're following the flow of who you are. Keep on expressing in this way that feels good. And then there'll be times where there's not, and then you know that, oh, I'm not settled into who I am. How can you get there? What determines whether you're settled into who you really are and when you're not? Your thoughts. That's it. It's very simple. Let's try and keep it simple. I tend to complicate things, so I'm going to really try and keep it simple. Just because I see so many things that we could talk about. But it's really simple in that way. So to not think about, oh, well, if I just, thought in this better way, or what was I thinking? Right, I got to try and change those thoughts. Here's the thing, as soon as you are trying to push away what you don't want, you're actually going and blowing it up really big. And we are energy. We will harmonize with whatever vibration we're putting out there. So when we're putting this out there, we are attracting more. Like attracts like. That's how energy works. And the strongest vibration, it'll bring in more vibrations of that. Okay, so I'm just gonna give an example. I'm gonna give a common one. This is one that I've had a lot of experience in, and it was in weight loss. When I was little, it was just something like dieting. It's been a thing since I was a kid. That was just part of my experience. I learned that being chubby was not acceptable, or it was to some, and it wasn't acceptable to those that mattered to me. Do you see how even my thinking as a kid, how we can get, well, mom and Graham and dad, they're good with me being a little chubby, but the kids at school, they're not okay. Well, you know what? I'm giving more importance to that, because how can I fit in everywhere? How can I be acceptable everywhere? And then all of a sudden we twist ourselves into pretzels and looking for everything that we can find out there to help us to fit into the, weirdly shaped pretzel that's it's just an impossibility. What is possible is for us to settle into who we are. There's no pretzel twisting there. It's actually like a surrender, almost, an acceptance, an awareness. Right, so I'm going to use the example of weight loss, because I've had so much experience with it, of gaining and losing, all that. Where, when what I wanted was to lose weight. So what did I do? I looked at, maybe I'll try keto now. Oh, how about paleo? Or how about this? Or I'll just cut out carbs, or low carb. There's all of these things that I was churning up in my mind to try. Ooh, what about exercise? Now, what am I going to do? I enjoy running. I used to run a lot more than I do now, but I still enjoy running. And it's just like, well, running isn't enough. And now I've read that running over, I'm post-menopausal, they call that whatever. I'm past menopause now. So there's, it's like, oh, it's different for women of your condition or whatever. They didn't call it a condition, but for that state in your life. And now I have to do something different. So it was like, the more I looked at what I didn't want to do, the more I attracted or kept the weight, either gained or just kept it. What you put your attention on is not going, what you want. When you put your attention on what you don't want, you just get more what you don't want. Now, here's the thing. Well, what do you do then? What do you do then? Well, you look to what you really want. So what I was doing was I was saying, yeah, I want to lose weight. And when I say lose weight, all that pops into my mind is doing diets. It's about deprivation and forcing myself to do, exercise X number of minutes a day, however many times a week for, who wants to do that? And it's like, what? They say you can only lose 2 pounds a week. Oh my gosh, I got like 40 pounds. That's going to be, it's just, just the whole idea of it. The vibration. Do you feel it? Because I'm like living into it, so I can just like, all of that is not appealing. There is no appeal there. The vibration is in in opposition to who I really am, to what really wants to be expressed through me. Let me just see your Jillian. Beautiful, we can only change the way we experience the life around us. Yes, Jillian, from the inside out only. Life works from the inside out, even though it looks like outside in, like all of those things out there are causing our experience, or the cause of our experience, but it's not. It's always from the inside, from our own thinking. Love that. Tina, wow, makes sense. Great. Lisa, yes, I've been focusing on abundance and apparently it's manifesting itself in weight gain. Good Lord. Well, let's talk about all this. Let's talk about these things. This is awesome. So what I was doing is I was focusing on a means to an end. So I didn't really want to lose weight. In fact, just the thought of losing weight, everything that I wrapped up, all of the thought that I have wrapped up around what it means to me to lose weight was hard, gross, effortful, forever and ever, deprivation, and doing things that I don't want to do. So when my attention is on that ball of ick, all I'm experiencing is ick. No good. No, it's stress and strain and not good feeling in the body. Even if I mustered through and dropped some weight, I'm always afraid that I'm going to gain it back. Afraid that, or, I'd like get to a certain, a couple weeks in or a weekend or whatever. Yeah, not usually a couple weeks, but weekend, whatever. It varied. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then it's like, I deserve this. Or it's just like, oh, just one. And then it would just spiral back because it's like, oh my gosh, it's just so nice to just allow myself to eat what I really want to eat. And then it would carry on because I didn't understand. I didn't understand how it worked. But it's working like this all the time. So let's break that out a bit. When we put something in the way, before, if we say that we need to do this, and then we can enjoy life, because then we would have what? That's the problem. I think I've been on this wheel, I'd been on this wheel of wanting to lose weight for so long. It's just like, why? So whether it's weight or no matter what it is for you, what do you want different? Why do you want it? Now, here's something to remember, is that we are made in the infinite intelligence is always wanting us to feel better. We're always leaning into what feels better. So we are always doing what makes sense to us in the moment that has us feeling better. That is our natural, that is the flow of the river. So what we're doing is we're saying, I'm going to say me, because I don't know all of your experiences and what you want to experience differently in your body yet. So what I was doing was going against the river. Let me go for, even though I love to run, as soon as I make set out a schedule and that I have to do this, my attention is fully on something that it's no fun. Now it's on restriction. It's on restriction and rules and all the things that universal energy does not want. Who we really are at our core, it's an expression of freedom. It is calm. It is open. It is not all of these restrictions. Now, having said that, what about if, there's something like coffee. So I've been a few weeks off of coffee now, or 4 weeks now. I don't even know quite how long. It was making me sick. I don't even like the taste of coffee. All I really like is the creaminess and whatever sweetener I put in. I use honey or, stevia or different things. All I really wanted was the sweet and the cream. I didn't want the coffee at all. I kept having it because in my mind, coffee represented revved up, getting things done. Come on, Michaela, you gotta get things done. So coffee. I was feeling sick. It took me so long to get off of it, even though my body was telling me, no, that's not, I don't want that. But it made sense. There was something that made sense to me to continue to drink it. Until it didn't. Until it's like, okay. What if I just have what I want? So if I want something sweet, I'm going to have something sweet. If I want something creamy, I have something creamy. I can go make another creamy, sweet drink and leave the coffee out. Save my stomach. Ugh. It's crazy the things that happen, but this is how it works. You're going to do what makes sense to you in the moment. Likely what makes sense to you was something that came from way back in your past. It doesn't matter what. We don't need to know. We don't need to go there. It doesn't matter. The thing to know is that at one time in your life, it made sense. And the more tension you feel in your body when you go to do something like that, like in one of my cases was to go and diet, that tension built up, just like with the coffee, where it's like, oh wow, it's making less and less sense to do this. It's making less and less sense. And when you just release it, it's like, okay, what do you do then? I'm going to do this. It's like, if I'm looking this way, this is the diet, and what I really want is over there. I want to feel lighter. I want to feel flexible. I want to feel agile. Like, what is the feeling? Why do you want what you want? It'll always come back. This is like telling you the end of the movie. Sorry, spoiler alert. You'll be glad for this though. If you drill down, like allow yourself to go deeper and deeper and deeper with what am I really looking for here? What am I really looking for? what do I really want? It's always going to take you home to what you really are. It's always going to take you to some description. It might be different for you, of freedom, of expansion, of aliveness, of full expression. And that will change. Your full expression changes from day to day. Sometimes I want to have fun. Sometimes I want to get into a deep, interesting, psychological, spiritual conversation. So I do this. I like pick up my attention and put it on what do I really want. And as soon as you put your attention on what you really want, without the, but first I got to go on a diet, and then I got to do that, and then I got to do this. Well, all of a sudden, look how far away I am from what I really want. Here's the thing. When you get that you experience the feeling of your thinking, that's it, that's all, ever, 100% of the time, I can look in the direction. I can put my attention on feeling free, on feeling expansive, and immediately I feel it. Let's just take a moment here, and I invite you to do this right here, and just take a moment. I'll be quiet for a moment, and just like, what is it that you truly want to experience? Whether it's about within your body or any part of your life, because it's the same across the board. We're just looking at body specifically. But just, what is it that you want to experience? What do you want to feel? I wanted to be able to once again do yoga, funky yoga poses and twists and stuff as fully as I did before I had some extra weight on me. There's nothing wrong with the weight. The weight is fine. It doesn't matter whether it's there or not. The point is, what do you want? Is there something that might change with your attention? I'm going to give you a moment, and then no, pardon me. I got this in my mind, and I would like to say it right now because it will go with this. I kind of lost it. I could feel it slipping away, but it'll come up again. It'll come up. Let's just take a moment. Let's just take a moment and think what you really, really like. What you'd really like to experience. If you would like to share, do. I'm going to share about when I settled into the feeling of how I just want to have freedom of movement and not have any obstruction. I feel unobstructed. And I'm curious to know your experience, if you would like to share. Do you notice how just thinking about what you want, sort of asking the deeper question, and I recognize that this might not have been enough time for you to go in deeply. I invite you to do that after the call. At any time. What do I really want here? What your attention goes to is what you will experience right now, before it's even like developed in form. Oh, I knew it would come back. I knew it would come back. I'm just going to make a note because now it's come back. No, it'll come back again. I'm just going to trust that. Lisa said, yes, security, financial, food, peace of mind. Lovely. We can experience this. Laura, I want the freedom of what money brings. Me too. Well, okay. Laura, if you will, since you brought it up, money doesn't bring you freedom. Money is outside of who you really are. You can only experience the feeling of your own thoughts. Therefore, the feeling that comes with not having to worry about it, the feeling that comes with not having to worry about it. Right, security, yes, great. Okay, so security, freedom, those things too come from within. I know people, Laura, who have so much money and they are so worried. They are so afraid that they don't have enough, even though it's like the numbers do not have them feeling secure, even though the numbers are really humongous. And I bet that you've maybe run across people in your life before, or know people, or maybe not, whatever. But there's times we can see it's like, wow, what are you worried about? Or what are you concerned about? It's like, it's their thinking. They have a thought about it, what it means. And one day it'll make different sense. If they understand this, if they're in a conversation like this. So money actually doesn't bring us freedom. That feeling of freedom comes from within us. That is why the talk, well, it didn't actually say it, but I think it was part of the thing. Like, you can experience this now, right here in this moment. That's what I really wanted to demonstrate. That we, even just thinking about freedom, even imagining what it is, getting into the feeling, like when I think about, when I see me going into, it's like I can feel what it feels like to have the freedom to get into any kind of yoga position I want. When I'm thinking about lighter mobility, where running is easier and my lungs are not as labored because there's, less to carry when I run. I can feel that right now before my body has ever even physically changed. Like, I can look at it and it's like, it will look just the same, but I'm feeling lighter already. So does this make sense? Was this a helpful... I don't want to have to think about money. I want to feel free and easy, downstream, easy. Yeah. Yes. So look to what you want and open up. Remember at the beginning we were talking about, great, Lisa, awesome, makes sense. We were talking about coming to a situation, like you can come to the money situation, come to it with fresh, like it's a brand new movie. The old movie is it. This is part 2. It's nothing like part 1. It's actually got a different director and everything. It's a different movie. What is possible? If money doesn't come from me, if it's not me who, like, I used to get really caught up on it's me, my money, or I'm married. I have 2 kids. I was home with the kids. Rob was the earner. And I got to, even though I had a career of my own before, made my own money, supported myself, supported my first husband, and bless him. And even though I had that experience, I got conditioned to see Rob as my security, as that's where my money comes from. Oh man, it was amazing how caught in that I was. And I'll still get caught. I'll still forget. We're human, so we'll forget now and again. We'll forget. But that's okay. We'll also remember. So come to it new. Understand that it is the universe. It is universal energy that brings you money. And it may not be in the place that you're expecting it to come from. It's universal intelligence. It is there's infinite possibilities. Infinite. If I would have, and I did hear it, it wasn't always helpful to hear that in the past, but I've tested it out, just tested out. Like, honest to gosh, it was a few months ago that I got into this, okay. What about multiple yeah, all right. If this is so great, let me just see where it comes from. But it's just that's what I wanted. I kind of put out there that, oh my gosh, I want to receive it from all over. Not just my work, not just, Rob's still working, not just his work. It's just okay, where else? And honest to gosh, within the last few months, there's been a couple of different opportunities that have come in to have another stream of income. I didn't know about it. I didn't look for it. I had no idea. All of a sudden I met someone and they told me about this, and then someone else a week ago invited me into something else. Hey, you should take a look at this. Wow. I'm open to it. I'm in the exact situation now, being full-time mom, relying on husband to support family. It's pressure on him. Yes, Laura, I understand. I actually didn't really... I've just recently come to a realization of how much pressure was on Rob, that Rob put on him. I probably inadvertently put it on him as well. But here's the thing. No one outside of you can put pressure on you. It's only if you put your attention, if you think that, this is all on me. This is all on me. What am I going to do? Instead of, this is all on me. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Isn't it interesting how when things, sort of feel overwhelming or whatever, we'll grab our head or our face or something, it's just right, calm. Intuitively we want to calm this down, because the answer is not here. The answer is going to come up from within you. And the answer for you, Laura, it's going to be unique to you. I mean, there may be a number of other people that have a similar answer, but it's going to come from within you when you open up to it. This is why I say it's a testing out. Well, let me test this out in my life. And money, for me, body, time. Those are the sticky areas in my life. Those are the areas, I can see relationship. I can, in relationships, I can totally see how this works. Oh my gosh, I can see it. It's very responsive when I'm present to someone and just really present and just allowing, it's what needs to happen here? Just opening up to what comes up naturally. The relationship just flows. And there's not all the conflict. Even if there's conflict coming from, they're conflicted, I can be what my husband and I will say to each other now, because he's in this understanding too, is if one of us goes down the rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. What am I going to do here? And then the other will say, I'm not joining you in that. And we set this up. It's a signal to the other, I'm going down the rabbit hole. And sometimes we'll say, come on, join me in this. And then we'll have a good laugh. Because it's like, right, there's no help there. It's just all thought. Here's what I wanted to say about when you lift your attention from what you think you need to do. So we get all of our thinking wrapped up in what we think we need to do in order to get what we really want. Yes, he visits that rabbit hole daily. Laura, well, if there's ever a time that it feels right, and you will know when it is, and you will know when it's not the right time. And when he's all up in his head, that's not the right time. But you can even say, hey, I know this couple that when one gets all tied up in their thinking, they're getting rolled in and they're trying to bring in the other. Hey, did you see what they did? Did you? And then the other will say like, no, I'm not joining you in that. And have a good laugh. It's just staying out of all the thinking, staying out of all the thought. It is nice. But it's not necessary. You can do it all, you can have it for yourself. And just you being in a calmer state of mind, people feel it. When you're really present, people can feel that. And it helps to settle down. We'll react to something at times when we're, energy flows where attention goes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so what I was going to say before was when we pick up our attention from all the things we think we need to do in order to experience what we really want and just look to what we want. I want an abundance. I'm not joining you in that. Yeah. Is it Ama? Alma? I'm going to say, is it Ama? Ama. Ama. Thank you, Ama. Nice to meet you. Yes. When you put your attention on what it is that you really want, you're welcome. Your body will adapt. Your body will change to support the direction, the attention, where you're setting it. Example. So probably, well, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Time is really, I don't know. It's a number of years ago. I decided that I was, it's for a number of years that I did energy work and then coaching and then just, I wanted to get to it and just, get things done. So what did I do? There was so many things that were in that whole story. But what I did was I basically sat at my desk all day long, every day. I stopped doing regular body movement. I just kind of stopped all that. What did my body do? It supported my attention on sitting at the desk all day long and just being here. It adapted to the purpose that I gave it. The purpose that I gave it? Sit in this chair, body. That's your only purpose. Make your fingers move on the keyboard. Give me a cup of coffee. Snack, eat at the desk. It adjusted and it adapted. How did it do that? It got heavier. Because really the only muscle it needed was kind of in my spine, and even then it wasn't enough because I started to get back issues and stuff. Your body will adapt to support whatever attention, wherever you're sending it. Oh, wow, that went really fast. I'm sorry. If you're okay to continue, I'm okay to continue for a bit because I feel like I feel like we haven't covered everything. That is a really key thing. So, Christine, so I get that the feeling in my head can be freedom of walking without pain, but the facts say that I need crutches and I'm limited by a genetic painful condition. I don't get where the speed bump in my thinking is. And Esme, yes, please continue. Okay, Christine, I gotcha. We're coming to that. So, like, how does that land? Because what happened when I changed my attention, when I kind of saw this, and I'm my own experiment. I experiment with food, where I shared yesterday how I brought, different food into the house and just let myself have at her. Lo and behold, it diminished. My interest in it diminished. So this whole idea about the body. So when I kind of looked to, like, what do I want? Last summer I sat in my hammock and it's like, what's the relationship I want with my body, within my body, to my body? And things came, and I just allowed it to come up. I was there for quite a while. But honor. I wanted to honor my body, and I wanted to feel agile. I wanted to feel contained and not like all spread out. I had been seeing the chiropractor more and more frequently because my spine it's like, oh my gosh, it's telling me I need some muscle work. My spine needs the muscles to help support it. So things came up to do. I didn't sit down and think, okay, so I want to feel agile, and I need more muscle because my spine. I didn't sit down and think about a plan and get, whenever I try and do that, I'm like resisting. All of a sudden it came up. It's like, I'm in yoga. I'm going to do yoga. I started doing yoga, and I did yoga and yoga and yoga and yoga. I've done other things since. I've danced. I've done all kinds of things. Movement is medicine. Absolutely. Yes, great. Thomas, I'm so glad that or is it Thomas? Thomas, I'm going to say. I'm so glad this resonates. When you look at the nature of our body, I'm getting to you, Christine. When you look at the nature of it, we have, look at our joints. Look at what we're able to do. If we weren't meant to use our body and do these different things for dance or yoga or walking or hiking or rolling around on the floor, stretching in crazy ways, we wouldn't have been given what we've been given. So look to the nature of it. Now, Christine, there's a couple of things here. So one, when there is pain, actually I'm going to go back a little bit. Remember our nature, our true nature. We are universal energy. Now, it has come through each of us, animating and in a very particular body. Our bodies are all different. Even twins, I know it said it, one's a boy, but they're triplets. Even them, their bodies and their essence is different. It's very unique to them. This is how I see it. That universal energy is living and animating a very particular body in a very particular way because it is wanting to express. It expresses through us and experiences it. It does not choose, it does not want the same experience. If it wanted the exact same experience through all human bodies, well, we would be, those clone people. We're not. So there is an expression called Christine on Earth that can only be expressed, Christine, through you, with your particular essence, through your very particular and unique body. I don't know the whys or the wherefores. I'll get there in just a moment, Thomas. I don't know why. I don't think there's any answers in the why. I don't think we're ever going to get a why around those things. I think that is a little bit of a, yeah, I mean, you can go there, but how about instead we put our attention on what is possible? What is possible for you in your very unique body? And this is something only you can answer. I want to talk a moment. Christine, I'd love to know how that is landing and if you'd like me to expand more on that. I'm not sure, like a question may, yes, I'm not looking for why. Awesome. So let's look to what's possible. And we did, yes, we talked about our attention. Okay, I'm just going to read what you had wrote before. Listen to your body, my mind can take over. Yeah. There is pain and there is secondary pain. Our reaction or response to the pain. I have pain, chronic progressive autoimmune spinal arthritis. I need to listen to my body. I am constantly working for balance. I am awakening that universal love and light is within me and without and is guiding me always. Yes, 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 it is. Laura, we are incredible beings. I often forget how powerful I am in considering a dream board. Fun. Yes, I'm not looking for, okay, differently abled instead of disabled, I prefer and like. That's awesome. That's awesome. There is, I'll use this again just because it's a really clear and people can typically relate to this, but when we put our hand, when we accidentally, touch something that's hot, we get burnt. The initial response is not pain. The initial response is shock. And it's only when our attention, so remember the three principles of mind, consciousness, and thought. As soon as our consciousness, our attention, our awareness then goes to, like, once the automatic reaction of pulling it off, and then our attention goes to, and then our thought kicks in immediately, and we feel it, and we'll feel the pain. And what happens eventually, if it's just, a blister, it's just a couple blisters and it's not too severe, even if it is severe, it fades. It fades because here's the thing, we don't sit there all day long looking at it and giving it our attention. We carry on with our day. Now, when there's pain that's more severe, that's actually preventing, a movement in the body that many would just take for granted. I walk, that's just what I do. When there's something that is having you not be able to do that, well, here's the thing. Your body was still created in a way, and there's something that it is meant to do. So you were talking about in messages about like walking and, seeing it happening. And absolutely, and what I'm going to invite, here's something where the personal mind can get into conflict. So it's almost when there was a word that was about, we can't pretend. We can't pretend that we're okay and then have it be okay. We can look for the feeling that we want to experience, like we did in that little exercise earlier. Like, what is the experience of walking and hiking? What is the feeling of that, Christine? Look to that feeling and then be open. Then take your let loose. Abraham puts it in this way of sort of, and then let it be. You kind of set the direction or the attention. You get the feeling, and then just allow it. Because just like multiple streams of income can come from all over, the experience of what you want to experience in the feeling of hiking or walking, you can experience it in other ways as well. So sometimes we can, like, okay, here's another body example. When I was growing up, the word skinny was used a lot. I rarely hear that word anymore, but that was used when I was growing up. So I wanted to be skinny, and I'd look at these girls who were skinny, and it's like, oh my gosh, that is just, if I would have ever gotten to that point, I probably would have been sick, because it's just not my body type. That's just not available to me. I really had to just accept what is available to me. Here's the thing. I saw that my body was so much more, it supported me in the things that my spirit wanted to express through me. I can climb even, like people saying, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Like climbing all over on these things. And it's like, well, just do it. I didn't get that everyone just can't do that. So there are things, Christine, that you have available to you. You all do have available to you, whatever the condition of your body, to experience what you truly want. And being really allowing, sometimes we need to let go, like I did, let go of this skinny image that I thought that's what I really wanted. It's not what I wanted. I mean, I did from here, but my spirit, yeah. Okay, awesome. If you need anything, then just message me if there's anything more that comes up. This was so good. I mean, it was good for me. I see new, right? Whenever we get into a conversation like this, there's always something fresh and new that can come up. And that's where shifting really happens. I think there was more, but it feels like that's a good place to stop for today. I would love to just have a couple of minutes. Is there something that you would like me to speak more on? Because sometimes we can get over it. Feels like we might be full right now. Is it enough that you can take away and play with it in your life to see where you're putting obstacles in the way of that I have to do this and this and this in order to experience that I really love? That's what I really want. Just have a peek in your life and see where you're doing that, whether it's with your body or with money. So I need to get out of my own way. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm going to use that because I hear that a lot about, I get it. I get what the term means. I've used it so many times myself. You know, when you hear a term over and over and then you start to really think about it, it's like, what are we really saying there? But yeah, it's just catching. It's just really a simple, a catching when your thoughts are taking you to a place that doesn't feel good. Your body, you experience it in your body. So your body will tell you right away. And sometimes it has to tell you over and over and over, and sometimes louder and louder. Like my stomach with the coffee. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, that doesn't make sense anymore. Because as long as something makes sense to you to do, you're going to continue to do it. if there's anything you would like to put in, like, hey, Michaela, do a talk about this or expand on that, or talk, I take those things away. If you want to message me, you can message me ideas. I have lots of things, but if I'm happy to speak directly to things that are fresh for you right now in your life. On tomorrow, I'm doing one more live this week, and it is tomorrow. It's at 8:11 a.m. Mountain Time, and it's healing the body from the inside out. Isn't this interesting? Because, when I first created, I think there's going to be some crossover, maybe, but there's going to be maybe a little bit more in around the energy that we are. And what healing really is, what is really happening, and what's doing the healing. I'm curious to see what comes out. I'll start the conversation, then we'll see where it goes. It's been a pleasure to be here with you. Always, it's divine for me, and interesting, and evolving, enlightening. So I hope you got the same or better or more. And if you didn't, then please let me know that too. Thomas, great. I'm so glad. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much. Follow me, please do, if it feels good. There's options to donate, but you know what? That is something too that needs to feel good. Only ever do things that feel good. And if there's any kind of don't do it. Yeah. Thank you, Guy, and such a lovely name. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I love this community. Thank you, Insight Timer, for providing this platform. It's truly a gift. It's one of the wonderful, I don't know any like it. Yeah. Thank you for authenticity. You're welcome. Thank you, Michaela, for being genuinely relatable. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad. I've tried to be a professional before. It's bad. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's so much easier to be ourselves, isn't it? Thank you. I needed this reminder so much. Laura, I'm so glad you said that. I might have said this. I'll say it again because it's fresh and it's new. Someone recently, within a couple of weeks ago or so, said that all that we're ever really doing is reminding each other and remembering. Reminding and remembering. Yes, Eleonora. I think I need, Eleonora, I did not have the words. It's this. Oh, cool. I'm so glad. Professional, amateur. Yeah, I'll take it. This is lovely. Thank you so much. Oh, I have a question. I love Abraham. I was just obsessed years ago. Very cool. Very cool, yeah. I had a friend, I still have a really good friend, and she was into Abraham, and I was kind of on the outskirts, what I'd hear, and I didn't always get it. And the three principles, it just brought it all together for me. I guess it was just how I could relate to it, or I suppose she changed your life. That's beautiful, beautiful. Amateur comes from love. Amour, I think. So amateurs do what they love. They're not amateurish. I love that. Thank you. I'm considering something. I don't really know how it works, but I think there's groups that there's a group that I can create. I don't know if I might do that in time. I'm not sure. I'm still just getting to know how the platform works and how to best serve on it and all of that. So, yeah, there's information a little bit more about me if you want in the bio thing that we profile, I guess it's called. So Yes, you can. There's time for every purpose. Yeah, great. I'm not going to rush into it, but it came into my awareness, and it's like, oh, let's see where that goes. So it's been a pleasure. This afternoon I'm going to create a few more, or at least 2 lives. I'd like to do at least 2 each week. So I will do that this afternoon. So watch out for that. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow or another time. It's been a pleasure. And I love you all. Thank you. That is what we are. So, see you again. Or be well. Namaste. Yes. Thank you. Ciao.